Hi guys, welcome back to the Malena Edit. We are jumping into mid-season. We're past mid-season now, so that point of the college football season, we're going to talk about Heisman favorites, my updated rankings, and what we're thinking of these teams up until this point. Let's jump right into it. Let's have a little chat about Heisman favorites. At number 1, I've got Matt Corral here. Loved this guy since 2020. I think he's continuing to look really great out there. So I feel like that's an easy number 1 choice. At number 2, I've got Bryce Young. And I'm almost reluctant to have him here. I'm not sure if it's that former Alabama quarterbacks have just shown us so much, and I have to remember that it is this guy's first year starting, but I definitely want to see more from him. I know that he has the potential though. I know that he's improved week over week, so I am keeping him at 2, but that might be a little bit of Bama bias, I won't lie. At number 3, I've got Kenny Pickett, a little bit of an interesting choice here. I think this is a big week for him and he could really talk himself into this conversation more. A little sneak peek of my week 8 preview. Versus Clemson, I think that the Pitt Panthers absolutely stand a chance, and if Kenny Pickett goes out there and shows up, he could get a big win for a smaller team and really talk himself into higher draft positioning, Heisman conversation. Number 4 is a defensive pick. I'm going Jordan Davis here, with a guy playing a highlight position as well as he is. At number 4, I'm going Jordan Davis, with a guy playing a position that is hard to come by, that type of talent on the interior defensive line. I definitely think he needs to be on this list. We saw a defensive lineman in Chase Young in New York City just a year, 2 years ago. Oh, God, it feels like forever. I have no idea when Chase Young was in college. So I think that Jordan Davis absolutely should be in this conversation. And at number 5, I'm going CJ Stroud, another reluctant quarterback pick here. I think that he has a lot of potential in the position that he's in as the quarterback at Ohio State. I don't know that he's shown to me enough to fully be in this conversation, but he's coming off a bye week, going into the second half of the season, so I think I have a lot of belief in the potential there. He has far too many pieces, great pieces around him, to not start pouring it on now. And because he has that talent around him, that trio of great receivers, a tight end there that we all thought was going to not retire, go to the NFL, declare for the draft last year. He has pieces to get the ball to turn those numbers up. So he almost should be higher in this conversation than I think he is. A couple honorable mentions here. Grayson McCall, I hear he's doing well for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, but I'd be lying if I said I watched them yet this season. They do have a big one this week versus App State, 14 ranked Coastal Carolina, so that's huge. Even in a weird year, that's still a big deal for these smaller schools. So him coming out with this win this weekend will be a big one. I know a lot of people are raving about him. So I'm looking forward to actually getting eyes on him. Another guy that I know everybody has high on their list, but I just can't because his team keeps losing. Bijan Robinson, talented, amazing. His team is not winning, so I just don't know what else to say there. I'm not gonna lie. My top 10 teams heading into week 8 of college football. Starting things off with an easy one, we've got Georgia. At number 2, Oklahoma, because I had no idea this team was undefeated. I don't know. I think it's because they weren't coming off with their Sooners convincing, crazy high-scoring wins. I definitely thought in my head they had 2 losses. Had no clue that this team was undefeated, but neither here nor there. They definitely look better with Caleb Williams, so I think they deserve this number 2 spot. I know it's so hard for me because I like rooting for the smaller school, the underdog, but I do have Cincinnati at number 3. Just because Desmond Ridder doesn't always play a super consistent game. I like his play style, but just a couple little tweaks that need to happen there. I love that defense. Super easy to love that defense. I do hope these teams stay at 2 and 3 and we get to see them match up in the playoff. I don't know why, I just love this matchup in my mind. So that's exciting. At number 4, I do have Alabama here. That's kind of easy. I guess it's not easy this year, but I do think they easily earn that number 4 spot. And at number 5, I've got Ohio State, but I've got my eyes on them. I think this is going to be an interesting week for them. 6, 7, and 8 are a mishmash. In this order, I've got Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State. Hear me out. I need more clarity. They don't have enough common competitive opponents there just yet in the Big Ten. No head-to-heads, so a lot to look forward to. They are certainly going to remember this November in the Big Ten. I'm nervous about how these teams kind of maybe beat themselves out of playoff conversation. But it's going to be a really interesting one to start to separate these teams a little bit more. I feel like I've seen enough to like exactly actually where I have them, but anything can happen on any given Saturday, so I'm not discounting any one of these teams beating one or the other. Very, very interested when we start to see these teams match up. At number 9, I've got Oklahoma State. I almost feel like they should be above some of these Big Ten teams, and I'm pretty sure the AP poll has them ranked above Michigan State. But I'm not super convinced in what they're bringing to the table. They've got another good matchup this week, good-ish this year matchup versus Iowa State. So keeping an eye on that. And then at number 10, Oregon, another team with a big matchup this week versus UCLA. I feel like I've been waiting for this game since they beat Ohio State and since UCLA beat LSU. Very excited for this one. And finally, my college football playoff favorites as they stand today, pretty much already revealed to you. At number 1, I've got Georgia. I do kind of think the road ahead is pretty easily paved. They don't have a super challenging schedule this year. At number 2, I've got Oklahoma. Baylor, I'm keeping an eye on that game, and Bedlam versus Oklahoma State are 2 of the matchups that I'm eyeing for them going forward. At number 3, Cincinnati, just keep winning convincingly, Bearcats. Like, leave no room for an argument. Start blowing teams out if you want to. I wouldn't be opposed. Defense, just pitch a shutout, whatever you've got to do. And then at number 4, I want to have been able to definitively said a team here. But I'm so uncertain about Big Ten or Pac-12. I'm not super confident that Oregon runs the table going forward. And I'm not sure if that's that back of mind Pac-12 bias that they beat each other up. I am nervous for them versus UCLA this weekend. And for Ohio State, who I think would be the front runner. But again, we have to piece through the madness that is Penn State and Michigan State this year. I am just keeping that in mind. So a lot to look at for them going forward. They've got a big one. I think I'm going to know a lot more of who the Buckeyes really are this season, who they could be if they made it into the playoff when they play against this Indiana defense this weekend. I feel like I've been saying it since they played Indiana last year. I did not like the way they looked against this IU defense. I don't know. It feels like a spot where they could easily slip up. So much to talk about, lots to keep an eye on. I'm very excited to see how this all plays out. Week 8 preview time, starting it off in the Pac-12 with 10 Oregon at UCLA. Cannot wait for this one. I have been waiting for this since like week 2, 3, whatever of the college football season. As I told y'all earlier, I feel like this could be maybe a Pac-12 championship preview. Not sure what the road ahead has to look like for UCLA to win this out, but I'm keeping an eye on it, potentially being a rematch down the road. My concern for UCLA, this Bruins defense, Oregon being able to take the top off of them, similar to how in their Arizona State loss, Jayden Daniels getting the ball to, I think his name was Ryan Pearsall, for some big plays. I don't know that Anthony Brown has a big target to be able to do that with, but keeping an eye out for that. Other than that, I really do like UCLA in this game. I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson on the run. I like the option there to Greg Dulcich. I like Zach Charbonnet in the run game. I'm really, really confident in this Bruins team for some reason going into this game. Obviously, we're all going to be watching Kayvon Thibodeau, though, getting to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So interested to see what they call up to kind of combat that. It's going to be a fun one. I'm very much looking forward to this. Next up in the ACC, we have Clemson at number 23 Pitt. Unranked Clemson at a ranked Pitt team. I mean, we love 2021 college football. I am definitely looking to see what Kenny Pickett can kind of pull out for this game, but it almost feels like Clemson, a 2-loss Clemson feels monumental to the rest of us. It's, in the grand scheme of things, not that crazy, not that big of a deal, but we're so used to them just winning and winning comfortably in the ACC. They're still a program that has a championship mentality. I'm sure they know that they are capable and looking to run the table so they don't just fall that out of sorts this season. So we know they're going to show up, but I'm rooting for the Panthers in this one for sure. And finally, the matchup I've been talking about all video, it feels like. Number 5, Ohio State at Indiana. My notes here, Indiana's defense. I think that they have all of the talent to be able to match up against that Ohio State offense. And that sounds crazy, and that shouldn't be the case. You have a 5-star quarterback, all the talent in the world to throw the ball to, that runs the ball on the offensive line. There's just no excuse here, and I'm still going into this game concerned for the Buckeyes. Prove me wrong, Ohio State. Like, there's no way that this defense should beat you, and I think they can. I really do. And beyond just those is my top 3. We've got a lot of good matchups this week, and I think it's going to be a fun Saturday. Number 8, Oklahoma State at Iowa State. Cowboys looking to stay undefeated, so I'm looking forward to that one. USC at 13, Notre Dame. And beyond just those is my top 3 matchups. A couple other ones I'm going to be looking at. Number 8, Oklahoma State at Iowa State. Cowboys looking to stay undefeated. USC at number 13, Notre Dame is going to be another big one. I know that rivalry could cause the Trojans to play up a little bit more. I know their head coach got fired earlier this season, so I don't have the highest expectations for them. And then finally, 16, Wake Forest at Army. That's going to be a tough one, but I know that the Demon Deacons want to stay undefeated too.